I think you're going to be shocked by this number 3 because
Okay.
I think you're going to expect it to be higher.
Okay. Oh.
Number
okay.
3, the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Okay.
It was
I'm not
surprised. Really
surprised.
good. Family movie of the year. Banger. Peaches, top tier. Movie in general, top tier, but I can admit it does have its fair share of flaws. I do wish it had maybe an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes. Could have used just a little bit just to like give that pacing a little more room to breathe. I wish Luigi was in it more. I wish Peach had another female character to talk to. That would be great. But aside from those things, it was a really great movie. I think it's never mind. I can't say it's the best video game movie of all time because Sonic the Hedgehog 2 exists. Which
really
was my
based.
number 1 movie last year. Which I just realized we're going to have to either delay this episode next year or like hot off the presses because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out on December 20th. And you know we got to get Genre Geeks back to cover
so
Sonic 3.
True.
We got to keep the streak alive. Anyway,
That's
the Mario
so
movie
real.
was really good. I've watched it 3 times this year, which is the most I've ever watched a movie in 1 year. Well, recently, when I was a kid, I'd watch the Lego movie like twice a day. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, that's all she wrote about the Mario movie. I can't wait to see
We already
where
talked about it, but
where it goes in the future with Nintendo stuff.
All right. Now I'm really curious about your last 2 because I really there's nothing else I can think of you saw this year that was like better. Okay, so number 3 for me, we're in top 3, right? A movie I did not expect to be in here at all. Movie that I wasn't even gonna see. I literally just saw it because I was bored on $5 movie day. We went and saw this on a whim, and it was such a good time. Really just it blew me away in a way I did not expect at all. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And I think this is the first time I've had 2 animated movies in my top 5.
That's funny you say that because my top 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy and animated movies.
Yeah. So TMNT was not something I went into with any expectation because I didn't see a lot of promo. It was kind of quiet other than Seth Rogen being like, hey, we made this movie. And I was like, okay. Animation was stellar. Story was super heartfelt. Jackie Chan did a great job. You know, I've always loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. They have like a special place in my heart. Overall, just like it really... And I feel like this is bad because the bar is really low for movies at this point, but it made me feel like all I want is to go to the movies and feel something. And that movie hit me right in the heart. I feel like it was a really, really realistic depiction of being the weird kid in high school. And I was like, this is it was really, really solid and was really grounded for such a wacky movie. And I think it's just what kids needed in a movie. I would have loved to have that movie when I was early high school and just felt like a dork, because I think that it has a really positive message that is shown really well, and that's just rare. That's super rare. So TMNT Mutant Mayhem, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. It's rated G, so bring the whole family. Yeah, didn't expect it, but it's there.
I've already said my piece about that movie, so we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
I'd like you to know that in the last 30 seconds, there has been a shift.
Oh
number
my
one
gosh.
has become number 2. Number 2 has become number 1. Because I was really thinking, I was like, oh, I don't know. So I switched it because I was like, that makes sense. So number 2, I'll explain partially why this one got bumped down, even though it technically is a 5-star. And my number 1 is a 4.5 star. So according to my ranking, I'd say this one is better.
Enjoyment. It's about enjoyment.
It is about enjoyment. So number 2, Kaguya-sama: Love is War, the first kiss that never ends. 2 reasons this got bumped down to number 2. It was number 1. One, I had to fight to get this included in the movie competition because I watched it not as a movie because I didn't want to go. I wanted to go see it in theaters, but I didn't want to go by myself. And the only time I go see it was like at 10 o'clock at night at the movie theater in the mall, 40 minutes away. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I watched it when they dropped it on Crunchyroll. But when they dropped it on Crunchyroll, they dropped it as 4 episodes instead of the whole movie. I don't know why they did it that way. But they didn't change anything. They just split it up. So I had to kind of be like, does it count? Does it not count? And it's really good. I love Love is War. It's my favorite romance anime. The movie is a great continuation. It's a great arc, especially with where season 3 ended. But it didn't feel right to have a movie that I watched as a movie at number 1. That felt really disingenuous to me.
That makes sense.
So I was like, okay, let's bump it down to number 2. It's still in the top 5, but it's not number 1. So,
that makes sense. And I can't even be mad because Love is War is actually really, really good.
It is. Love is peak. Thank you very much.
Love is peak. So
I think my number 1 is really going to surprise you.
I just can't. It has to be something I haven't seen because there's nothing on here on my list that I know you've seen that you haven't mentioned, unless you secretly like loved Oppenheimer and watched it in secret. I don't know. Like, all right, number 2. I feel like this is a hot take at this point in society. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
Hit my number 2. And I've talked to a lot of people recently specifically that like were like really disappointed with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But just like TMNT, like I went to that theater and I left feeling something. Like Guardians of the Galaxy has been a story I've been following since day 1, like since the release. Like I've been watching them and I'm so connected to all of those characters, and like I've followed Marvel even through Guardians and through like Avengers and like everything Guardians has been in. I saw Thor Love and Thunder in theaters for the Guardians and they were there for 30 seconds and I was pissed. But this movie, like, I really don't like that there's so many like air quote franchise movies in my top 5, but I feel like Guardians 3 wrapped up their story really, really well for me. Like, it was a very satisfying ending to characters that I have loved for many years. I cried like a baby in the theater, and I can agree there are some issues with it. There are too many death fake outs. I don't like that that's a pretty common thing in movies now. And, you know, it's not the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I need to rewatch the second one, but I still think the first one is better. But I haven't seen the second one more than once or twice. But I just really, really enjoyed it, and it hit me really hard because I grew up on it, and it really it wrapped it up really well for me, and I didn't have a reason to dislike it. I just had a good time, and it kind of took me back to when Marvel was good.
I know, right?
It was like,
isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah. That's just 2.
All right.
Number one movie of 2023.
What's great is I know what your number 1 is.
No, you do, just because I haven't talked
about it yet.
But you don't
know what my number 1 is.
I really don't.
Actually, I want you to go first. I want to leave you in suspense a little bit longer.
My number 1 movie of 2023. It's not going to be a shock to anyone that knows me.
Nope.
John Wick 4 did it for me in a way that none other movie did it this year. John Wick is probably my favorite movie franchise of all time. I'll put it that way. And similar to Guardians, it wrapped up his story so satisfyingly to me that it was the end of an era and I wasn't mad. Because if you screw up an ending to a movie series you've been watching for years, then it pisses you off and it makes it hard to go back to the other movies. That's what we've been talking about for Spider-Verse. Where like, if the last one is hard, it makes it hard to go back because you see the wasted potential. So, just the way that this was executed was so heartfelt to me, And it was a really good theater experience. It was a really good theater experience because me and my dad like went together, and it was like in school and everything was really busy and it was really hard. And I was like, do you want to go see a movie? And he was like, yeah, I really do. So we got Five Guys and we went and saw John Wick 4 because that's our thing. We'd always watch John Wick together. And it's just, even outside of the franchise, it's one of the most impressive action movies I think I've ever seen. Like the entire, like, over the top shot of him with the big shotgun going through that entire
so
building.
Cool.
So dope. Like seeing that spectacle in theaters, like I was blown away. And yes, it's very long, but I think they needed to do that to expand the story. And I think John Wick is similar to the Hunger Games in the sense of John Wick is not just bad guy kill people. There is so much deeper story there that I just really appreciate. Keanu Reeves is breathtaking. You know, there's nothing else. There's no one else that could do the role like him. The aesthetic was on point. All the lighting was amazing. The fight scenes were perfectly choreographed. Also, Mr. Krabs as the villain. Get out of here. Like, Roger Bumpus, who is a very credited voice actor and has been doing a lot more live action acting, which I'm so for. He was in Ahsoka. Dude, Mr. Krabs in John Wick 4? Get out of here. That's already a 5-star for me. So, yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. I want to watch it again. It hit me in a place that no other movie has done this year. And I honestly, so when I saw John Wick 4, it went to the top and it's stayed at number 1 since. It has not left its number 1 spot since I saw it. So there you go.
All right.
I'm so
1.
confused.
This movie has been it's been in the top 3 since I saw it when it came out. And if you know me, this won't surprise you at all. Like, it really won't. Once you know what it is.
Once I know it, I'm going to feel dumb. We do this every time.
So,
like, I'm going to feel dumb once I know
one,
what it is.
And I am absolutely rewatching this week or next week. Is the new
I know what it is.
Is the new Makoto Shinkai movie Suzume.
Yep.
I was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this movie actually is really good. It is a gorgeous movie. Absolutely stunning." And I do feel like Weathering with You is obviously my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie of his, and I don't think Suzume surpassed that, but it was able to meet it. It wasn't any worse, but it was on par with my enjoyment of Weathering with You. And I don't remember a lot of the fine details because it has been a long time. Like, I watched this movie in April, so it's been a hot minute since I've seen it, and that's why I want to rewatch it. But I feel like even without that rewatch, it is still the best and the movie I've enjoyed the most. I check Amazon every week waiting for that Blu-ray to drop, man, because I just want to have it physically. It's on Crunchyroll now, so like there is a way to watch it, but I want that physical DVD. I want to be able to physically add it to my collection. And it's just, Makoto Shinkai holds a special place in my heart, just like you with Wes Anderson. I love Makoto Shinkai. I cannot wait for his next movie. I assume he's doing another movie at some point. It's probably not announced yet, but yeah, Suzume takes that top spot.
Go.
I loved it so much, and I wish I could have seen it more than the one time I saw it in the theater, so I could talk a little bit more about it in depth. So
that makes sense. I completely forgot about Suzume. I do feel dumb. We do this every time, but
that's what makes it fun.
I'm going to watch it.